My forefathers did not die. They did not revolt against the largest empire in the world to establish a new republic just so that 200 years later, Eyal Yakoby could show up 200 years later and try to undo their work. No. You. That's not what this country gets to be for you. This is America. We believe in liberties and freedoms. Folks, welcome back to The Narrative with me, your host, Will Sexton, the host with the most and the most new set design. Folks, you gotta let me know, what do you think? We did a little bit of a set redesign over the weekend. I'm still adding some stuff. I have to add some soundproofing. There might be a little bit of an echo. I apologize if there is, but we did a set redesign because today I'd love to take a second to note that, folks, we have officially reached 100,000 Vrilliamites, folks. 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. I'm absolutely blown away at the speed by which this channel has grown, just the magnitude this channel has grown. So I am absolutely grateful to every single one of you. Like I always say, God bless you and God bless America. But we're not ending right now, folks. I promise you, we are just getting started. Everything I am doing, I'm putting back into this project, putting back into this work, and we are just getting started, folks. And that's a great time for me to announce that not only do we have this new set, we also now have a second camera angle. That is right, folks, a second camera angle. We have 1, 2, just like John Doyle, because hey, if Doyle can do it, why can't I? Right, folks? Oh, Christ. Okay, folks, in the news today, we are going... I wanted to take an episode to talk about news more so than a deep dive and talk about something that actually sits kind of near and dear to my heart. That is censorship. If you know anything about me, you know that I deeply despise the idea of censorship, and I despise when I see anybody put under censorship, especially within America, a country wherein we were founded on the principle and premise of free speech. It's literally our First Amendment, and yet we still see censorship to this very day. And yesterday's events on X were the pinnacle example of the only kind of censorship we see these days. An incredibly popular Israel-critical pro-Palestinian account, Junior, was demonetized yesterday directly by Nikita Beer after a wave of demonetizations for what X has defined as repetitive, reused, sort of just low-quality content. If you're familiar with X's payout scheme, there's a revenue sharing scheme. If you're a verified user over a certain threshold and you get X amount of views, you get a certain level of revenue sharing. It's not that much innately, like, let me say that. I do like okay on Twitter. I get views and stuff, and I get maybe $300 on like a really good month. And it's not bad, but it's not ads, it's not YouTube AdSense. It's not like this. It'd be kind of hard to make a living off of revenue share. And if someone can make a living off revenue share, it implies that they're doing a lot and they're getting a lot of views and a lot of engagement, and a lot of interaction, something that Junior was. And the thing is, the reason why he was censored is pretty clear. And don't get me wrong, okay? I'll admit some of his content kind of lowbrow, okay? It's kind of lowbrow, very like not properly cited and sourced. He's been caught being wrong about something, posting something that was AI, whatever, a couple different times. I mean, this is not a high level of journalistic credibility here, okay? He's a Twitter poster. And I'm not going to act as if this is some kind of gigantic loss in, journalistic integrity and within, free speech. It really wasn't that big of a loss. But what I want to highlight is twofold. The first being that he was demonetized, which I think a conversation needs to spawn around this idea of not outright banning, but taking away features, because I think that's far more nefarious than just outright banning somebody, because it seems that people began to dislike the idea that you could be banned for speech, you could be banned for things that you say. And so what all these companies, social media platforms, really any form of public platform, what they've done now is they'll let you stay, they'll let you say what you want, but they'll deplatform you, they'll take you off the algorithm, they'll demonetize you, they'll make it impossible for you to do this, they'll make it impossible for you to put your time into it, and therefore it is about as good as censoring you. And that That is a very, very slippery distinction that needs to be noted and called out immediately. It is a total loophole, it's a workaround, and it is just as nefarious and conniving as anything else. Second, the only reason this happened to him is because of his criticism of Israel. Let's make that clear. If they actually were on the warpath of getting rid of like bad content and trying to ensure only quality content is monetized, X wouldn't have a website, okay? It's like mostly posters from Nigeria and India reposting memes from 10 years ago. Like there wouldn't be anything on the platform anymore. No, they did all of this because it was spurred on by Eyal Yakoby. Yes, the leading charge behind his sort of demonetization, deplatforming was Eyal Yakoby. Now, if you're on X like that, you know exactly who Eyal Yakoby is. If you're not, let me give you an introduction into somebody you would hate to meet. Before we jump into the story, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell to get notified every time I make a new post. Be sure to subscribe to my second channel. More on that later, and let's jump in. To describe Eyal Yakoby as Israel's top guy would be a criminal understatement. A 23-year-old Israeli-American political commentator and influencer, X obviously being his biggest platform. His whole thing is just tweeting about how much he loves Israel. That's his whole thing. Is he tweets about how much he loves Israel and how great Israel is and how Israel can do no wrong and how MAGA can do no wrong. And the reason he's part of that racket is because his name is Eyal Yakoby. He's an Israeli American, as if you can be something else alongside American, but this is the current status quo that they have established here. Yeah, he's Israeli. Like that's why he's like that. Like he's loyal to them because he's Israeli. I don't think that's that crazy to say that a guy who's literally Israeli is going to profess a loyalty to them. He's going to profess a sympathy with them above anything else. And it's very clear that's what he did here. That's why he did this. And the actual demonetization happened when they got Nikita Beer involved. That's the product head at X.com. Nikita Beer obviously being a Ukrainian Jew. So do you see the fucking connection here? Like, do I have to spell it out for you guys? Like, they did this because they they support Israel, and they support Israel because of this ethnic affinity that they have, and the fact that they see Israel as their brothers, as their people, which is that's very human in nature. That's not that's not conspiratorial. That just makes fucking sense. And so they're going out of their way to shut down people like that because of their loyalty, because of their support. That's why. It's not like Eyal Yakoby and Nikita Beer were sitting with one another and trying to weed out like slop accounts. They weren't going through and trying to find every single episode of Fruit Love Island and get it taken off the platform. They did this because Nikita Beer is a Ukrainian Jew and Eyal Yakoby is literally Israeli. That is why. That's why they did it. There's no other reason. And this to me is what is so obnoxious and egregious about it, is that these two people who are, in every sense of the word, foreign to the United States, one literally being Israeli, the other being an immigrant from like the post-Soviet Union countries, neither of these people can really claim to be arbiters of the American spirit, really claim to be arbiters of what it means to be an American and what America was founded upon, and yet here they are attempting to utilize all the means at their disposal to go against everything the United States was founded upon. And you see this time and time again. You see this with Shabbos Kestenbaum and him trying to sue Harvard because there were pro-Palestine protests. You see this with the ADL doing everything in their power to shut down Tucker Carlson. You see this literally in just the entire case of Nick Fuentes, the threats that the Young Turks get. I mean, all this stuff. You see it everywhere because it's very clear. These people don't care about the Constitution. This is why they aren't American. To somebody like a Shabbos Kestenbaum or an Eyal Yakoby, the First Amendment isn't a proud, bold, and sacred feature of our country. It's an obstacle. Ask yourself, would any of these guys hesitate to have the First Amendment overturned, completely destroyed, if it meant that they would benefit? Of course they would. Of course they would. If they could make it illegal to criticize the state of Israel, if they could make it illegal to criticize political actors, they absolutely would. And it is clear that every single day they are seething, just absolutely furious over the idea that my forefathers were smart enough to know that men like them would exist at some point in the future and try to bank off of our prosperity and our political goodwill and use it for their own gain and silence American voices. Now, granted, Junior, he's like, I'm not going to claim that we're on the same side here in a sense. He's a Palestinian guy. He's been very anti-Christian before, and I have contentions with him. Don't get me wrong. But if they come for him over this, the buck doesn't stop with him. They'll come for me. They'll come for you. And that's a problem. Above all other things, I am absolutely a critic. I think you can see that here on my channel. And yet, never have I once ever promoted the idea that someone's free speech should be taken away, or taken away by these proxy loopholes. I mean, what is it with them and the loopholes? I mean, come on. This paranoid, neurotic spirit that causes them to go and attempt everything they can to ensure that people can't speak freely and criticize them. This is the problem. It is someone like an Eyal Yakoby is the civilizational equivalent of taking your ball and going home. The literal only child of history. I mean, the shamelessness and the fecklessness of this is absolutely revolting. It's appalling to say, oh, well, I don't like what he's saying, so I'm gonna get him demonetized. I don't like what he's saying, so I'm gonna have him deplatformed. That's your argument? And I can't reveal too much about, behind the scenes workings and sort of this industry, but I can tell you there have been a lot of attempts to get me to be quiet. There have been a lot of attempts to silence me, some very publicly, others very behind the scenes, but the threat all remains the same. I mean, they're completely shameless in their actions because the American spirit, the American identity is something that they fundamentally hate. They fundamentally hate the American spirit and hate the Western spirit. It doesn't matter what they say, they hate it, okay? When someone like an Eyal Yakoby calls himself a defender of Western values, he's not talking about George Washington. He's not talking about the monarchies of Europe. He's not talking about the Renaissance. He's talking about the new West, the cosmopolitan West, the secular West, the degenerated West, and he gets to be the arbiter of the unwashed masses that don't know anything. That is the West he's referring to. It's the West that he's able to control and corral. But that's not what the West is. That's not what I am, and it's not what you should be. I've said it before, and I've said it very simply. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. My forefathers did not die. They did not revolt against the largest empire in the world to establish a new republic just so that 200 years later, Eyal Yakoby, real American name there, Eyal Yakoby could show up 200 years later and try to undo their work. No. Fuck you. That's not what this is about. That's not what this country gets to be for you. This is America. We believe in liberties and freedoms. And it is only the shameless, feckless, just completely bold, neurotic, paranoid, and just generally fucking insufferable political actors that would go out of their way to undo the work of our forefathers. This is not a man who cares about free speech. He has never once cared about free speech. He has never once offered the benefit of the doubt to his adversaries because that is a foreign concept. And this is why when he says he's a defender of the West, it's bullshit, okay? Open debate, discourse, that's Western. Shutting people down violently, saying all opposition, everything against our tradition is wrong and heresy, that's Eastern. That's not Western. That is explicitly collectivist and Eastern. There is nothing Western about that. And yet here we are. And so plenty of voices came out in support of Junior, and I would like to be one too. I would like to come out and say that, yes, I support the guy. I hope that he can be monetized. And I mean, this stuff's difficult. If I wasn't able to make a living off of my content, I would not be able to do my content at all. I would not be able to do what I do. And that's difficult. Okay. And this is what I mean by this is the loopholing that they'll do, okay? They'll go, oh, well, actually, see, we're in favor of free speech because we didn't ban him. We just removed all monetization, all algorithm platforming. It is pure loopholing. And I mean, like, are we surprised? I mean, come on. Really? Like, are we really that surprised, guys? This is just kind of what they are. And I don't know. We're fast approaching a time in which many theories and many ideas as to what it means to be an American will inevitably be forced to converge on one another, whether it be through compromise or through conflict. Yet, even though that question is still unanswered, I think truthfully that the question can really only be answered by defining what is not an American and what is not American in essence. And I think it's very clear that this is not American, that Eyal Yakoby is not an American. He is Israeli. He's an Israeli citizen. He works on behalf of Israel at Israeli-backed institutions and posts all day for Israel. That is his thing. That is his bit. That is his brand. And so clearly, this is not American. Someone like a Shabbos Kestenbaum is not an American. These are not Americans. These are Israelis. These are people who support that country, that government, etc., etc. And you know what? Fine. No one is saying you can't be. You can be Israeli. It's not like you had a choice in the matter. Don't then lecture me on what my country is, who my people are, what America is supposed to be and what America is supposed to do. Don't tell my sons to die because yours are far too precious to you. No, my sons are precious to me. America's sons are precious to me and my family. I don't want them to die, period. And I especially don't want them to die for you. And so I'm sick of this being litigated in public. It's very simple. America, if not for anything else, was explicitly founded on the idea that, yes, we have free speech. That, yes, if someone wants to listen, they will be allowed to listen. And in the modern age, these platforms, they do not deserve the right to be considered private entities in that capacity. No, this is the crossroads of public speech and private enterprise. And I refuse to let private enterprise win out over public safety, public good, public benefit, okay? Even if I disagree with Junior, even if I think he's not like that good of a content creator, he still deserves every single right to speak publicly, to be monetized, to be able to interact with platforms like the rest of us do. And by the way, that even extends to Eyal Yakoby. I think that he should have a right to speak out loud here in our country. Granted, I think that that's a right that we should then have a right to follow up and say, okay, but your name is Eyal Yakoby, so like maybe we shouldn't take you that seriously on this topic. But he should have that right to express it just like everybody else, nonetheless. By the way, that's not something he would extend to any of us. Do you think Eyal Yakoby would extend that to me? Do you think he'd look at this and say, yeah, Will Sexton should be allowed to criticize Israel publicly? No. Not at all. They'd want me shut down. And that this is the key difference between us. This is why they are not American. And so I ask you at home, are you an American? Will you join up this Easternism with this collectivism, with this foreignism that looks to silence and censor Americans, to remove American civil liberties? Are you going to side with that? Or will you be an American and side with free speech, side with liberty, side with everything that makes us what we are in the face of a world that is doing everything in its power to make us into what we are not? But folks, that is going to do it for us today on this episode of The Narrative. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell to get notified every time I make a new post. Folks, I really hope you like the new set. Furthermore, I hope you like kind of the format I'm doing here today. My idea is throughout the week, I want to split it up. I'm thinking like Monday, we kind of just talk, maybe talk about something that happened. Wednesday, we do like an actual political analysis, maybe a history. And then Friday, a deep dive. We do a dive into something, maybe scripture, theological concept, whatever, the stuff that you guys love. Because I don't want to do just one kind of thing. I also want to announce that I'm going to be launching other shows. I'm going to be launching new shows. So you'll have episodes of me all throughout the week. I'll be doing several new endeavors. I'm taking this opportunity that you all have blessed me with in this circumstance, that by God you have blessed me with, and I'm so grateful for. I'm taking it and running with it. I'm going to expand in every way possible. With all it being said, be sure to subscribe to the second channel. Be sure to join the Discord. I have a Discord now. It's on the link tree. Can I just say, I say this on the live stream all the time, okay? You guys are always asking me, right? Where's the Discord? Where's the Instagram? Where's the... It's in the link tree. Everything, I pay like $5 a month for this thing. It's in the link tree. That's the whole idea, is you click it, everything's there. It's literally the top thing in the description of this video. All my links, that's the link tree. You go there, it'll give you everything. It'll give you fucking everything of mine, the merch, the affiliate, Discord, whatever. It'll give you literally everything. It's in this, I specifically put it in this one thing. Like,
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
I'm not even, folks, with all that being said, thank you so much for stopping by today for this episode of The Narrative. And as I always say, God bless you and God bless America, folks. And I will see you next time.